Hello everyone. Welcome to the first part of I'm So Tired challenge. You actually voted for a fluff challenge this time. So yeah, let's get into it. As always, special thanks to my lovely patrons and all of you who still watch my videos. Don't forget to subscribe to keep up with the uploads. And let's get into it, shall we? Before anyone has any issues with this, I promise this is a nice challenge. That's hard to believe after the last several cases. I can't really blame us for having trust issues. You weren't even in the worst ones. So, I can imagine how it looked like. You have one chance to prove it's nice, otherwise I'm out of here. What he said. I mean, it's not Toru. Yeah, but he's sure to win. Fine, listen. Your challenge is to say, I'm so tired in front of your partner to see what they would do. Just tired? I mean, you can be tired of something if you want, but just generally tired is enough. Okay, sounds tame for once. I don't know if I want to be part of anything. I still don't know where Kanji is. He still haven't called you? Stubborn idiot. Please don't. I just don't know what to do. I'm worried. Yeah, that's obvious. Do you want to come over until it's dealt with? I wouldn't be against. No, it's fine. But thank you, I appreciate it. Okay, well, you'll see. Maybe you'll get a chance. Everyone else in? Yeah. Seems simple enough. Why do you even want to do this with Rin? Because I want to see what he would do when it's not him saying it. Go on then, good luck. To be perfectly honest, Shigeru didn't have to pretend he was tired, as his body refused to make even a single step more. Who would have thought preparing for a baby was so much work? His relatives who already had kids seemed to manage everything with ease. And yet, although they all had several months to prepare for their upcoming baby, they only had a few days before the paperwork was finalized and they were to take over caring for Aiko. It was exciting, yet scary at the same time. He looked forward to having a baby brighten the space, but on the other hand, considering how time-consuming taking care of a child was, he couldn't help his spiraling thoughts sometimes. Like now. He looks like an absolute pro in all of this already. He's so ready to take this head on. He glanced up to where his husband was just doing some finishing touches on the newly built crib. But unlike usually, his heart was now gripped by invisible chill. Aiko maybe didn't hate him outright, but he still had no idea what he was doing. What if he messed up? What if he did something that hurt the little girl, physically or emotionally? What if... Shige, breathe, it's alright. Startled, he realized his breaths became much more shallow than they should be, his hands trembling when Kentaro took them into his, squeezing tight. Shh. It's fine. Take a deep breath. Sorry, I wasn't... Don't apologize, it's alright. Just settle down, okay? Slowly and steady. Shigeru did what Kentaro told him, eventually calming his breaths and heartbeat, before he let himself get pulled into the safest place he knew. There you go. What got to you? I'm tired. I'm so tired. The soft hum Kentaro let out resonated through his skin, feeling like the warmest fire during a freezing night. Yeah, no wonder. How many books have you read this week? I just want to be prepared. You are already more than prepared, love. You've already put more thought into this than most parents I know. He pulled away a little, just enough to cradle Shigeru's face in his palms, the warmth seeping from him, chasing away even the creeping cold in Shigeru's chest. You'll be a great dad, Shige. You don't have to know everything for that. Sometimes it's all about winging it a bit. That's easy for you to say. Aiko already loves you. Like there's not a single doubt in my mind about that. Sure, it's not going to go smoothly all the time, but once we get into it, you'll see how incredible you really are in this. Biting hard on his lip, Shigeru leaned more into the touch. How Kentaro managed to sound so sure all the time, he didn't know. But he certainly envied him the certainty. But considering everything, maybe it was a good thing. He could lean on that certainty anytime he needed. It wasn't like he was a single parent. Both of them were there, to help each other, just like they did for years. They were in this together. You will stay with me, right? Through all of this. A gentle kiss landed on his forehead. I'm not going anywhere. Come on, let's take a nap. I think we both deserve it. Shigeru couldn't agree more and let Kentaro lead the way into their bedroom, immediately nesting comfortably in the warm embrace of Kentaro's arms. He listened to his husband's steady heartbeat, slowly lulled into sleep, his final thought being on just how much he was looking forward to sharing the hug with their child. Despite spending most of his time in a swirl of work and wedding planning as of lately, Terushima didn't feel particularly drained. Not more than usual, at least. He accounted it to having Daisho to come home to every evening, since nothing equaled to the bliss of seeing his beloved smile at him, and even gave him a shy hug every now and then in the last week or so. It made him undescribably happy, giving him hope that maybe, just maybe, if everything worked out, they could actually do the first kiss as a married couple. Not that he would be upset if Daisho was still too scared to kiss him, but it would make the already perfect day even better. Well, there's still enough time before that, but one can always dream. As if he wasn't dreaming about Daisho ever since they met. Carefully hiding his grin behind a hopefully tired-looking smile, he made sure to have his shoulders drop a little before he entered their house, his mouth watering when the nice smell of cooking hit his nose. And if he wasn't mistaken, it was one of his favorites too. Aw, he's so thoughtful. Slowly, he wobbled into the kitchen, feeling his real and pretended exhaustion melting away like snow in spring when Daisho gave him one of his gentle, sweet smiles. Hi, welcome home. How was work? Long. I missed you. He carefully draped himself over Daisho's shoulder, gently nudging his cheek with his head. Long fingers ran through his hair, ruffling the strands stuck with gel a little to loosen them. Are you tired? I'm so tired. I told you to leave the planning for later when you don't have so many clients. Or to leave something to me. I feel bad you are doing everything. Terushima wanted to dismiss that sentiment, just like he did for the last 2 weeks. But something in Daisho's voice stopped him. He cupped Daisho's cheek, the sadness in his eyes making him forget all about the challenge and everything else for the matter. What's wrong? Do you mind that much? I thought you might be glad you don't have to bother with it. Sighing, Daisho looked away and hung his head. The way he clenched his hands betraying his anxiety. I sometimes feel like you think I can't do things right, so you'd rather do everything yourself. I know I'm not a planner, but this is supposed to be our wedding, right? It just makes me worried sometimes. Wait, that's not true at all. Faced with something he had never considered before, his mind raced to come up with a proper explanation of his actions. How did he never realize it before that instead of helping his fiancée, he was unintentionally hurting him? Again. He gently cradled Daisho's face in his palms, making him look up before he spoke again. I'm sorry, I was just trying to keep the load off of you so you could actually look forward to the future. I don't think that you can do it. I just don't want you to stress about things. And yet you let me watch you stressed all the time. I want to help. With his heart aching, Terushima leaned their foreheads together, caressing his beloved's cheeks with his thumbs as Daisho leaned into the touch. You're right, I'm sorry. It's supposed to be us, not just me against the world. I didn't mean to make you feel like this, I swear. I know. Let's work on this together. Yeah, good idea. I love you so much, you know? He no less than melted when Daisho smiled. I love you too. Normally, Taichi would go for a sensitive approach, not wanting to worry Hayato too much since his tiredness wasn't always a good sign. But after spending the last almost 12 hours on his feet, running around and getting shouted at by unruly customers, sensitivity just wasn't in his power anymore. He wasn't one to complain about his job, not after it kept them afloat during Hayato's long recovery. But sometimes he wished he chose a more quiet place to bartend. The tips wouldn't be as good though. And who knows what kind of boss I would have. Maybe it's good I'm here in the end. He let out a long sigh as he finally stumbled through the door of their flat, barely able to kick off his shoes without falling on his mouth, and then continued inside, at least trying to keep quiet since Hayato was most definitely still asleep. It was a shame. He wished he had his husband's embrace to lean into, but he couldn't want that from him. Not at 5 in the morning. His legs gave up under him the moment he came close to the couch, the pillows barely muffling his fall. The vacations could be over already though. Aw, you look like trampled over by a herd of elephants. Taichi startled, but a gentle pressure on his head prevented him from straining his neck by looking over his shoulder. Lie down. You look like you need it. Instead, footsteps circled the couch, and then Hayato appeared in his vision in his full morning glory, but with the warmest smile on his lips. I thought you were still sleeping. Nah, woke up like 10 minutes ago to make sure you came home. Oh, sorry. Hayato clicked his tongue and gently ran his fingers through Taichi's hair before leaning down to kiss his forehead. Don't be sorry for my decision. Making sure you are home safe is worth an early morning start. He grinned, nuzzling close to Taichi's ear. And we will go back to bed again anyway, so who cares? Don't you have a morning practice today? Nope, tomorrow. So I can also make sure you get a proper rest. Taichi whined quietly when the warmth left together with Hayato, only to return in the form of a pair of strong arms carefully holding him up from the couch and supporting him on his feet. Come on, let's get you changed and then to bed. Wait, I should take a shower first. It's nasty. Hayato paused, his grip tightening a little. Did someone touch you again? I swear to gods, if any of those fucking drunkards lay their damn hands on you again, I'll... Wait, no, it's not like that. He gathered all of his remaining strength to turn around and grab Hayato's arms, since his husband looked seconds before marching out of the door to hunt down some of the bar's patrons. Maybe he shouldn't have said anything back then, but the guy scared him when he grabbed him over the bar, and his first instinct had been to call Hayato for support. And support he did, like a guard dog let off of his leash, until Taichi's boss promised to keep a better watch of everything. No one did anything, I swear. I'm just tired and probably dirty from the alcohol and smoke. I don't want you to be disgusted. As if I could ever be disgusted by you. His face softened again, his grip turning supportive. We can just change the sheets later. Come on, you need to sleep. Taichi followed him obediently, too exhausted to protest anymore. A grateful sigh escaped his mouth as Hayato helped him change his clothes, and then he found himself engulfed in the warmest, safest embrace he knew. Sleep. You need it. Thank you. He was asleep even before he finished the sentence. The crevasse that formed between them because of his stupidity, invisible but present nonetheless, didn't seem to want to close itself despite their repeated talks about their relationship. Atsumu understood, he really did. What he insinuated in a moment of judgment lapse was harsh and most definitely broke Sakusa's heart. He still couldn't believe he managed to say something like that when he knew how much effort Sakusa put into being there for him. Like a normal person, in his own words, which just made Atsumu feel worse since he wasn't even able to make sure Sakusa was comfortable in his own skin around him at all times. He agreed to the break from despair, hoping it could help if they spent some time apart. But the flat was just so awfully silent. Only now he realized how much he missed the things he thought were annoying or bothersome before. Things were bad, but there was still a flicker of hope, and Atsumu would be damned if he let it go out. Might not be the best time for challenges, but this one could actually help a little. At least help me see what he thinks right now. There was a chance Sakusa would just give him a cold shoulder and told him to deal with it himself. But after the last instance in the changing room, he dared to hope for a slightly different result. We will see. Either way, I'll get my answer. He intentionally let his shoulders drop a bit, only enough to hint at exhaustion instead of looking pathetic, and made his way out of the changing room, glad to see Sakusa was really waiting for him outside the gymnasium. Hey. Hi? We saw each other 5 minutes ago. Yeah, I know, it's just... I'm surprised you waited. Sakusa shrugged, but Atsumu knew him well enough to recognize the tension in his posture. It all made him want to cry. The way his boyfriend wasn't looking at him, The fact that he shoved his hands into his pockets instead of begrudgingly holding it out for Atsumu to grab. The way he looked away the moment Atsumu fell in step beside him. He sighed heavily, but he couldn't really blame Sakusa for that. Only himself. Okay. Startled, he stopped abruptly mid-step, surprised to see the familiar concerned crease appear between Sakusa's eyebrows. What? I asked if you are okay. You look... I don't know. Atsumu let out an awkward chuckle, rubbing the back of his neck while his mind raced to choose the correct words from the swirl. He was pretending, sure, but especially because of that, because of where they stood with each other, he had to do an extremely good job. Yeah, I'm kinda tired after today, you know? He barely managed not to flinch when Sakusa touched his forehead, the wrinkles around his eyes deepening for a moment. Are you sleeping properly? You know you get a fever when you don't rest. One really can't leave you alone, huh? Yeah. He bit hard on his lip, only a hair from falling to his knees and openly begging Sakusa to come back home. Unfortunately, he wouldn't achieve anything by that. Just make Sakusa feel pressured into something he maybe wasn't ready for just yet. However, the fact that he was clearly worried now gave him a sliver of hope to cling to. Do you want to come home tonight? Sakusa sighed, for a second looking rather torn about the decision before he shook his head. Seems like I will have to, at the very least to make sure you go to bed on time. And Atsumu could about cry with relief. Thank you so much for watching, I hope you enjoyed. Obviously I'm not going to make this 100% fluff, but yeah, it is more on the fluffy side, which fair enough, we did have a lot of angst themed challenges for both monoships and polyships. So it's time to take a little rest. If you have any requests or ideas, the request form is linked in the video description. See you next time.